You know, until tonight, I didn't really think I knew what my favorite film of all time was. Now I think I do. So Blade Runner 2049 is a new film by master director Denis Villenue and is also a sequel to the 1982 film Blade Runner that was directed by Ridley Scott. And in Blade Runner 2049, Officer K, played by Ryan Gosling, gets some news of a man that went into hiding named Deckard, played by Harrison Ford, and Officer K has some questions for him, so he investigates and he tries to find him. And that's all I'm going to tell you about it, because honestly guys, the less you know about this film, the better it is. Blade Runner 2049 left me in awe. The film is an absolute masterpiece. Honestly, I don't know how Denis Villenue does it. Sicario, Prisoners, Arrival, Enemy. He's always been a great director, but Blade Runner 2049 is the film, I believe, which will escalate Denis Villenue into that level of being one of the directors that is remembered for eternity. Besides what Denis Villenue did with this film though, we have to talk about Roger Deakins. Roger Deakins is one of the best cinematographers working out there today, and what he did with this film is just unfathomable. I have not seen a film that looks this spectacular from frame to frame in quite a few years. And every actor who portrays a character in this film brings everything into perspective and makes everything so grounded. First of all, Ryan Gosling, the guy can do no wrong. I have never seen a bad Ryan Gosling performance, and once again, he does a phenomenal job as Officer K. Now, I would talk about Gosling more if Harrison Ford didn't blow me away even more. Look, Harrison Ford was great as Deckard in the original Blade Runner, but here, his performance is just dialed in about 10 times as much as it was in that original film. And this is definitely Harrison Ford's best performance I have seen from him in quite a while. But of course, the major things that drive Blade Runner, beyond the performances, beyond the way the film looks, are the overall themes that encompass this world. Both in Blade Runner and Blade Runner 2049, there are so many questions about humanity, questions about the environment, questions about everyday life that are relevant and certainly need to be heard. Only thing is, with Blade Runner 2049, unlike the original Blade Runner, this is a film I feel like I can go back and watch over and over and over again and get new details every time I watch it. And that comes from a masterful director who can use subtlety in such a powerful way that you don't get everything on the first watch. Look, I love Ridley Scott. He gave us the original Blade Runner, but Denis Villeneuve is on another level entirely. And where you can really see his direction come into play is not during the big action spectacles, is not during the louder moments. It's during the quieter, subtler moments where you actually have to tune in to figure out what's going on and what the messages are. The best parts of this movie for me is when you were honing it onto a character, and it wasn't the words they were saying, but it was their mannerisms, it was their body language, it was their facial expressions that you had to read, and more importantly, what they were reacting to. Next up, the humans versus replicants debate and the props that are used throughout the entirety of the film have never been more prevalent and have never been more important. When I say that you can come back and watch Blade Runner 2049 over and over again, the props are a major factor because within each given scene, within each given frame, you really want to hone in on every little detail because in all honesty, every detail in this film is important. But I do realize some people are going to have cons with this movie, and one of the biggest ones is going to be the pacing. Because certain times throughout this movie, Denis Villeneuve uses the very Arrival, Sixth Sense-esque pacing where it feels kind of like a slow burn, where everything just slows right down, and that might actually bore people. For me, I found it extremely invigorating. Every little aspect about Blade Runner Runner 2049 blew me away. I loved every single detail about Blade Runner 2049, from the cinematography to the performances to the overall social implications that this film brings, like the original Blade Runner film did. And this is coming from somebody who considered the original Blade Runner film to be the best sci-fi film out there. Except Denis Villenue has done the impossible, implanting Blade Runner 2049 as not only my favorite sci-fi film, but my favorite film of all time. And Blade Runner 2049 is suit worthy. And I have a feeling that this film is just gonna keep getting better and better as it ages. But as always, it is what you guys say that matters. So have you had a chance to see Blade Runner 2049? Please do yourself a favor and run out and see it as quickly as you can. Find the biggest screen with the best stereo around and go have an experience. And if you've already seen it, what did you think about it? More importantly, I want to know, which film do you think is better? I know where it lands for me, but Blade Runner or Blade Runner 2049? Whatever your opinion is, leave a comment down below telling me those thoughts. And if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right there and subscribe and become part of the fray of nerds who love cinema. You all have a fantastic day.